Hello? Hello? Hello, everyone. Howdy. Welcome to this. I am joined by Jackie Eleanor.
Hi, friends.
And we are here with currently Haru and Kuti. And we're hanging out. We shuffled some things around and made space to have babies in here hanging out. Hi. Also, I forgot to hide the merch promo, so you get to see the merch already. Big shout out. So the story about this artwork and this merch was that Eden created this damn excellent fan art, and it was so good that I was like, let me pay you for this, because it would look good on things. And when I say it looks good on things, it looks really good on things. This is now my favorite fucking cup. So it is wonderful, and it is available now over at YuuriVoice.com. So as we go through the evening, I'll get into what this past week has been. As you can tell from the stream title and the thumbnail, huge shout out to Thu, who put together this thumbnail using Jackie's meme that Jackie made, but she took it up a notch by putting my face on the damn on the damn wizard. So Shadow Wizard Money Gang, I'm pondering my orb, and that is my orb back there. That is Haru. He's feeling really good right now. Things are, so let me preface everything by saying he's not in a dire situation right now. I'm not gonna, if he was not well right now, I would not put him on camera. Like, I would never wheel out an actively sick, like dreadfully unwell cat. The cat is pooping, Cardlin. The cat is pooping. I can't wait to tell you guys the story, because I've told the story at length a few times, and I like absolutely thought I was like getting gaslit by my vet, and I sort of was. So that's a lot, but I'll get to that soon. Thank you, Barry, and thank you, Teddy. Welcome to Dreamer. I still didn't fix that because I love the meme now. Like, yeah, it looks jank, but welcome to Dreamer is a lot of fun, and I still haven't done alerts. I haven't done anything. It's a lot. Yeah, so I can show you guys real quick. The cat cam's gonna go away for just a second. It won't be long, I promise. Let me make sure. There we go. Okay. So over at your Ramen Lover with the first super chat ever on the channel. Ever. Like the only one I've ever received ever. Thank you. Thank you so much. So over at YuuriVoice.com, we do still have Seth Pocky pins in stock. I have not decided. I'm a little stuck here. So you can still get the Alphonse Pocky pin in the combo pack, but I feel bad because like some people don't need a combo pack just to get one specific pin. So I might like shuffle the stock around to release a few more of just the solo Alphonse pins into the world, but we are super limited now. I have maybe like 10 more and a few that are scattered around, and I have to double check and make sure they're not dinged up or anything. So yes, but then of course stickers. You're all familiar with the stickers, but did I not? Okay, for some reason this doesn't have the title of this on it. But anywho, the Balloon Boys collection. So we've got a sticker. We've got the poster, which is great. Now, hold on. The notebook. So it's important to note about the notebook is that on the front you have the top half of the chain, and on the back you get the bottom half of the chain. And what's beautiful is you get Charlie's cheeks on both sides. So yeah, it's awesome. It is this sure does look like lines, doesn't it? Mine was not lines, it was the dot thing. Yeah, so it says it here, but if you look here, it doesn't look like dots, that looks like lines. Anywho, no, it is not supposed to be lined. So they really ought to change that. I wish they would just let you choose like between lines or dots. And then I had to, so here, I'll show you guys this. So you'll notice this is this picture, it doesn't even do it justice because it looks blown out. Like that's not actually what it looks like. But it's not a great picture I had to take because the stock photos that are generated, these are the two photos that get generated. Yeah. So, Thea, welcome to Dreamer. Hold on. Now that I've shown you guys all the goodies. Yeah, it was dirty. There's also, we of course have the oh, I can confirm. Hey, Jackie, would you go get that Faust glass? Thank you. We have the Faust glass with the tarot art. Fucking awesome. And I will show you that in a second. We got Alphonse goodies. It's really hard to sell sweaters at this time of year. I'll just throw that out there. Yeah. All right. Hello, I'm listener is a banger. Anywho, help yourselves to anything. I had people asking if there was any way to like directly donate. One, I want you to get something. I would like for you to get something out of supporting me and supporting Haru. And also there's like a tip function on the merch site. So if you got something and you want to give more, you're more than welcome to. Obviously, I appreciate you guys. I'm not hurting, so like don't put yourself out to help. But this did land at a really weird time. So yeah. It was just really shitty timing, no pun intended. So anywho, let me show you this. So this is the glass. It is great. It definitely does not feel dishwasher safe, but like I would not put that in a dishwasher. And it's a little bit of a spoiler, but there's probably gonna be more tarot art. So if you like this and you like to display nice glasses like that, it might be worth it to collect the set. So thank you, Hex, for the super chat. Yo, Haru dropped the bomb. Urinheimer rebrand. I'm gonna tell you guys the whole story. I will tell you so much. And also for the here's Haru. He's got a little bit of stinky eyeballs right now, but he looks so much better than he did. And he's such a happy boy. Like, he is such a chill, bold, just awesome cat. Which is why this has been such a stressful situation, because, like, I mean, even if he was like a total asshole, he's mine. So, you know, I'm gonna fight for him regardless. But he's a very sweet baby. So I have been pretty stressed. So this past week, I'll tell you guys the story. So I've had Haru since he was 8 weeks, which is the earliest that you should bring a baby home, and probably not even the most recommended time. But because he's so bold and so just like adjusted and ready to be a cat, it seemed fine. And the thing that, if I could do anything different, I wish I would have taken him to the vet the moment I brought him home, which I've done with all of my cats. I 100% recommend, when you first bring a cat home, you take them to your vet. Does not matter how you acquire it, whether we're talking an adoption, a breeder. It doesn't matter how you acquire any pet. I think it's like buying a car. You want your mechanic to look at it, right? You need to know what's up the moment you have him. But he was so good that I was like, it's fine. You know, we're 4 weeks away from his 12-week vaccination. It's cool. And that's the one thing, like, if I would go back and do anything different, that's where the thing was. I don't think there was anything that we could have known then. Because he was right about at weight when he came home. But upon you know, we got to 11 weeks, and after, so for those of you who don't know, when you bring a cat home and you get them on whatever diet you're going to give them, it's rarely ever going to be exactly what they were eating wherever they were. They normally have some litter box trouble. That's very normal. It's just a matter of a few days with their tummy adjusting to the new food. And that was totally good. Like, absolutely normal. After a few days, he was passing normal poo. Looks like little crunchy Cheetos, like just the right size. No concerns, and has a big appetite too. Like, he will eat. So we were not, there was nothing that would have popped up a red flag or anything. But at 11 weeks, right, a week, so the day he turned 11 weeks, my other cats were getting routine vaccinations. Or, well, it was Mochi and Momiji, both of who, for the first time since I've been streaming, have decided not to come bother us. They'll be in here at some point for sure. I mentioned to the doctor, like, hey, I have this kitten who you're gonna see next week, but he's like really small and he has diarrhea, and I'm a little concerned that he might be underweight, so much so that you might not want to vaccinate him next week. So I found out like what he should be weighing, which is around 3 pounds, basically a pound a month for a kitten. Is the normal, you know, the normal process. Now, of course, there's variants and stuff, but thankfully I have a postage scale. Shout out to everyone who buys pins, because I use that scale to ship your stuff. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to put him on the scale and see. And he was only over a pound, which is like, so now he's nearly like 2 pounds behind where he usually should be. Even then, even if like, let's say he's small and like 2.5 pounds is where he should be, that's 1.5 pounds smaller than he needed to be. So then I'm like, okay, that's not good. Let's go to the doctor. So instead of Kuri getting his vaccination, we brought Haru that day. And it's fairly standard. So when you have a, oh my God, he's being cute. So we bring him in, and when a cat is just underweight and has diarrhea, it's fairly straightforward. You start him on an antibiotic. It's not a out of the ordinary thing to happen with kittens. We tested for FIV, we tested for parasites, both of which, that's not Mochi, that's Cootie. Both of which were negative. Like I was certain he did not have parasites because I had seen so much of his poop at this point. But you know, just being extra super duper cautious, tested him for stuff, but negative on both of those. So no big deal there. And so the doctor, this is where things start to get weird. The vet seems confident that he has some sort of gastrointestinal thing going on. And wants to start him on a prescription food. The doctor wanted to start him on Royal Canin gastrointestinal high energy, which is an adult kibble, but the big like asterisk is like it's an adult kibble, but it's highly digestible, high in moisture, blah blah blah. And I think under like most circumstances, feeding it to a kitten is no big deal. I don't think that's actually a big deal. So a few things that went awry here is that I did not know it was a kibble when she was prescribing it. Otherwise, I would have had concerns and questions. Because Haru, he sometimes is a good chewer. Sometimes he is not. Normally, if there's any moisture involved with a kibble, he just shovels it and swallows. He does not chew as much. Even if the kibble is paired with a wet food, but is still mostly dry, he like just doesn't swallow. That would be Jackie, the artist for basically all YuuriVoice content. That's who the girl in the back is. So anywho, the kibble. I get the kibble, and the doctor's like, hey, we need to put weight on him, which I agree with, is like, he definitely needs to start playing catch up. So the plan is to pair it with a wet food, and just, you know, encourage him to eat more, like, you know, offer it to him, get him eating, etc. And boy, let me tell you that those first like 2 days of the diet switch, he was slamming this food. So I made, basically it was like, I'll make a big plate and he can eat however much he wants, and then, you know, we'll put it away and save it, or, you know, just scratch the rest, and then we go. My cats are ragdolls, although there will be like ragdoll elitists who argue that anything that doesn't have blue eyes and isn't a specific color, yeah, that's a thing. But they're all ragdolls of a sort. So we fucking we make the food, and Haru just slaughters his meals. We so what my suspicion is that Haru ate way too much of a brand new food way too fast and created a little bit of a traffic jam. That's my hypothesis, knowing what I know. So within 2 days, Haru is constipated. He goes from like regular, well, no, not regular. He goes from like diarrhea to hardly able to pass like a fingernail sized bit of like mud, and then is completely stopped up. And you can feel his colon through his body, like how there's this hard, large stool that he cannot pass. Now, a constipated kitten. Thank you, Misa Amane, for the $10 super chat. Haru is like, he's 13 weeks now. Actually, today he is 13. Did he just pull up on me? Hi, honey. Hello, baby. So a constipated kitten is not an unusual or unheard of thing. If he's constipated and you've got him and you're monitoring him, it's not the end of the world. You can make him poop. So this was last Wednesday, so a week ago. We go and I'm like, hey, he's constipated. My immediate concerns, because I'm very like evidence based, is either he's had a reaction to the antibiotic, or he's having, you know, the food change is not playing well with him. I expressed those concerns, and the doctor is like, oh, he, you know, metronidazole, which is the antibiotic, you know, it very rarely has that effect. I give metronidazole to kittens all the time, blah, 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 blah. Like, I've had enough kittens to know, like, yes, a baby dosage of metronidazole is not like a huge risk or something. I know, but it's the fact that, like, we've never seen him on this medication. We do not know if perhaps there could be an allergy, there could be any sort of reaction. We don't know. We've never given this cat this medicine. Making assumptions that, you know, it's fine probably isn't the vibe. But, well, okay. So, on top of that, you know, I mentioned the food, and, you know, they really swear, by the, this food. And, like, don't get me wrong, Royal Canin is supposed to be one of the top foods. It's not what, and this is like just a little microaggression, but like, I explicitly said that I don't use Royal Canin, and it's the one that she suggested over the science diet version. And it's just like, okay, so you're just ignoring that, or forgetting, or not paying attention, or any of that, or just really supports Royal Canin's GI food, whatever. So, you know, she feels on his tummy, and it's like, yeah, he's definitely constipated. And up to this point, Haru still has an appetite. So that's why I'm not panicking. Like, he's still eating. He's still got energy. So it's not like I don't think it's a medical emergency. I do think like this food is concerning, but the doctor swears by the food and is like, keep giving him the food. And I'm skeptical, but I'm like, all right. Fine. The thing that she did budge on was like, let's reduce the dosage of the antibiotic. Because like it does also help with inflammation, and Haru was straining so much, like his guts had to be hurting. No one's asking you to remember their names. You're the one that keeps trying to name them. Yeah, the vet did sound a little sus, didn't they? So we reduce the antibiotic, and like this doctor continued to act like I really thought that the antibiotic was the cause, when like the only thing I ever said was like, you know, that's a factor. It's a recent change. It's not a not possibility that it could have been played a role in this, but whatever. So they keep Haru for the day, and he gets enemas and he gets fluids because he's a little dehydrated. They're not able to take any blood, just because he's in such rough shape. Like they literally can't get a needle to take. But before we're done, this vet goes on a big talk about how these cats, quote, these cats are prone to megacolon. And I had never heard the term megacolon before, so like I'm trying not to giggle, because that is hilarious. But and this was never presented in a it could potentially be X, Y, or Z. It was, these cats have this thing called megacolon, and you know, it makes digesting their food difficult, blah 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 blah. And at this point I realized like she only knows that he came in with diarrhea. She doesn't know that he had like nearly 2 weeks of like super normal poop, super duper normal stool. Oh my god, Cardlin. Oh, thank you for the $100 super chat, bro. Thank you, man. I'm really bad at trying to tell an audience this whole story. So she's like on this megacolon thing, and I'm listening, but like I'm becoming really skeptical because I've had pets my whole life, and I have never I've never had a vet try to diagnose so hastily. You know, it's always been, we need to reduce factors to narrow down and diagnose accurately. That makes sense to me. That's always been the kind of experiences I've had. This is the first time that I was like, I felt like something weird was happening. So, but I listen because, like, look, don't get me wrong. Like, I absolutely agree. Purebreds are way more susceptible to all kinds of genetic issues and things that can present in early development and in later in life. I 100% agree. That's not even, there's no argument to be made. And you'll not get that argument from me. Like, I was so wary that this vet thought like I was the kind of owner who's like, no, there can't be anything wrong with my vet. No, there's nothing genetic about my cat. Like, that's just not me. but I felt like that was kind of a shield that they were going to use if I gave any pushback. So I listened. And so Haru spends the day getting enemas. And they say that he passed a little bit, but he had not gotten the big old blockage out. But his tummy felt softer, and like we were definitely coming up on him getting through it. No poop for the next day. And then I'm getting worried because, like, yeah, constipation can be fine because there's a way to deal with it. Oh, he also came home with laxatives. In particular, this is a whole other thing. They gave me lactulose, and the way lactulose is administered, it's a very sticky liquid, and you put it in a little syringe and you shoot it in their mouth, and they're gonna try to spit it up, and you have to clean him because he's gonna get the stickiness all in his fur, so you need to wipe him down. But like I was like, yeah, sure, lactulose, of course. Like I don't fucking know anything about laxative. Like I am a pet owner going to professional, so I'm like, yeah, sure, lactulose. So we we have him for that day after that, and he's getting his lactulose, and he still has an appetite, and he's still eating that damn prescription food. And at this point I'm like, I'm getting worried because it's one thing to be constipated for a day or two, but if you get to day 3, like I'm thinking about worst case scenarios, right? Like you have to be honest, because like with him getting constipated, he was already small, but now he's like small and not able to eat enough and dehydrated, so he's small and like withering away. So there's a couple of ways you can try to get a pet to pass their constipation, which is laxatives, enemas, and when they're small enough and you can feel their guts through them, you can use a finger to coax the intestine, the colon, to get it to do. But he was so small that wasn't even viable. It wasn't a realistic option. So I was really worried going into that Friday. I was like, if we can't get it figured out, like I need to be prepared for worst case scenarios to occur, because even if you looked at an invasive option like doing a surgery to remove it or whatever, he was so small and weak at that point that I don't feel he would have recovered from something like that. Like he was so far behind trying to get the energy to grow and heal. It's just not realistic. So Friday was like the scariest day. We bring him in, and I'm at this point I'm full on, like, I'm going to advocate on behalf of my pet now. And I have to give a shout out to, like, because my mom worked in a vet clinic for 20 years, right? So like I've heard horror stories. I know how emotionally charged vet clinics can be dealing with pet owners and getting bad news and being resistant to all kinds of stuff. So like I tried to be as patient and as chill as I could be, but I got to give a shout out to like the staff. Like I have beef with this particular doctor, but the staff was lovely, and the staff are the ones administering the enemas, taking care of all of his other stuff, giving him baths because enemas make you fucking shit water. Like they were great. I have no beef with them. Their receptionists seem understaffed and overworked, but they were good. Like, I have no beef with them, and like, if not for them, like, Haru might not have made it through that Friday for sure. So like, because not only that, when any pet, and especially like a kitten, goes through like long vet trips and visits, and they're poking and prodding and making him even more uncomfortable and stuff, you know, your pets can come back really bothered. And you know, that's just the reality of humans handling animals, is like, when you're trying to administer care and they don't like it and you need to, you know, hold them tighter, like, that's just the reality of care. But they were so good with him. Like, he never came home acting like he had a bad time. He came home acting like his tummy was upset. So for that, like, every bit of communication we had after the fact, I made it very clear that the staff and everybody else were rock stars and that I appreciate them. And like, I am considering like either going and getting gift cards or offering to like buy them a fucking pizza party or something. Lingo, thank you so much for that's a huge super chat. Thank you. I'm getting to the part of the story where the good news starts. So he comes home on Friday. Oh, no. Hold on. Wait, he gets there on Friday. And the tech who takes, you know, when you go to the vet, you sit down with an assistant of some sort, usually a technician or something, and they will ask you what brings you in. They have like their questionnaire you have to go through. And you know, I immediately was like, look, the food we switched him to, I don't think he should be on it, and we need to get x-rays. And I bring up x-rays because the vet never brought up getting x-rays. And looking back, I wish I had been more adamant on Wednesday about x-rays, because when she started talking about Megacolon and shit, it was like, that's something we can just look at. We could just go see. Yeah, see, spontan maca? Yeah, exactly. For me, like, I think starting with x-rays might have been a good idea, just to make sure. So for people who don't know, like, a blockage, so a concern would have been that there might have been something he ate that he wasn't supposed to eat, that could have caused a blockage. Now, there weren't a ton of signs that it was a blockage, because he still has an appetite, he's not puking, he still has energy, and the large stool made it to where his colon is. Where, like, if it's a blockage, normally that would happen in the stomach or in the upper intestine. So, like, I get it, but, you know, and when I was explaining that, the technician agreed. She's like, that's not always the case. Like, it could be, and we don't know. So I'm like, yeah, exactly. So, like, even yeah, exactly. Spontan. Yeah, I know. And looking back now, I wish I would have just said, hey, let's x-ray. In the moment, it was like, I felt really good about the enemas, I guess. I don't know. In retrospect, why didn't we start there? Because that whole Megacolon thing could have been immediately disproven. So what, you know? So on Friday, I'm getting a little hot, you know? I'm getting a little frustrated. But this technician, like, completely agrees. You know, it's like, yes, x-rays, absolutely. So the plan is like enemas, x-rays, obviously like feeling on his tummy again, and we'll see what happened. So I leave him again, And around midday, I get a call, and I just want to make a note that the doctor never again mentions Megacolon, including never mentions that it's not Megacolon. Just pretends that that conversation never happened. So no Megacolon. She says, yeah, you can definitely see it's just a big stool that's in his colon, and he hasn't been able to pass it. And I'm concerned that, you know, Haru can't pass it because he has such a itty bitty pelvis. In that tone is now like saying that he has a genetic defect of a small pelvis. And what got me there was like, all of him is teeny, you know? So I bring up the like 2 weeks of normal poop. Like, if his pelvis was too small then, why now? You know, that's ignoring that he got diarrhea. We don't know why he got the diarrhea, for one. Remember? And two, like, he was passing stool regularly. So now suddenly, like, you know, it just the ignoring of the context. It's like, we changed him to the food you prescribed. You did not ask me about his eating habits. You did not even tell me what serving size we should look at for a cat who needs to eat a little more to get more calories. Never had those conversations. So, you know, I bring up the diet change. I bring up, you know, the weeks of good health, and the vet says those 1 to 2 weeks do not sway my opinion. And like, at that exact moment, I was like, it was thanks to the word opinion that I thought, I need a second opinion. I absolutely need a second opinion, because this doctor's gonna kill my fucking cat. I just, for a medical professional to say, we are going to ignore the context and facts of your cat's health because I feel so confident in my opinion that his itty bitty pelvis is the problem. I was completely like flabbergasted. Like, I did not know how to react to that. That was just wild to me. So they proceed with giving him lactulo. Oh boy, it's fishing time. That is Mochi, and he loves to fish. Oh, Miji's here. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness, they are here. Yeah, we try to be careful just because, like, they all love to fish. Yeah. So, I immediately start seeking a different vet, and I'm frustrated because, like, this particular clinic is very conveniently located to me, and all of my cats love to yell when we're in the car. So having a vet clinic that close, and like, I love their staff, I love their communication usually, I love how prompt everything is, I love how easy it is to set up an appointment. I do not have a beef with the bulk of everything going on with the clinic. But this doctor, this vet, man. So I seek out a place that's like 50 minutes away, and it's a hike. Like, that is a big drive, but you know, I knew it was the right choice when I called them, and I called this clinic, and the two receptionists that I talked with were just absolutely awesome. They let me explain my situation, because the thing is, like, I was very concerned. Like, I don't want to give you a 15-minute, like, look how long it's taking me to tell you what all happened. You know, I didn't want to take up too much of their time. But you know, I gave them the rundown, and they were like, well, you know, normally we'd want to see a constipated kitten sooner than that. And I'm like, you know, he's being cared for right now, but I'm seeking a second opinion. So like, he's okay. He's, you know, we're working on it right now, but like, I would like to set something up, even if he does get through this constipation, because I would like to assess what happened in the first place and make sure nothing happens after the fact. So they were lovely, the place that I called. And after the call, because the receptionist was like, it sounds like you need to talk with this one particular vet of ours. And I was like, yeah, sure, whatever you suggest. And I Googled to see, because like every vet clinic has like their staff on the website. So he's the head doctor that owns the clinic itself. He's like their head dude. And every specialization for him was literally everything Haru would need, like small pet internal medicine, like everything that he would need. This doctor excelled at and had like just 5 stars all around the board for. So we get that appointment scheduled for Tuesday, but I ended up calling them back and saying like, hey, do you have any emergency clinics that you would recommend, because I would rather ask this place rather than than the vet that's currently seeing him, because I don't trust their judgment anymore. And they were so nice, just absolute sweethearts. Gave me 2 options, you know, and even told me like, hey, if on Saturday things are bad, like we're open till 7, etc. So they were great. And on Friday I go back. Lingo, welcome to Dreamer. Thank you so much. We've probably unlocked some more emotes now too. I go to pick him up, and he has not passed the stool. But they did get a second round of x-rays, like pre-enemas, post-enemas, to see like if it helped. You know, his belly's full of juice, and he hasn't passed the... You can see when cat poop's so gross, but like if you've felt on a kitten's tummy, sometimes you can feel what I call boba. They're filled with boba. That's how it kind of like peas in a pod feeling. And you know, you could still see that in there. So, you know, I talk with this vet. Riot Control Camp, thank you, and welcome to Dreamer. We bring him home, and the conversation with the vet before leaving was, hey, you can go ahead and feed him whatever now, because we want him to poop. Like, not even saying we won't put him back on that food, but saying like, well, just feed him whatever. so completely, like, I don't think ever accepted that this food didn't help. Like, this food potentially even played a big part in this constipation, and she would just not budge. And I forgot that on the phone call when she called to tell me about his itty bitty pelvis, I was the one who had to be like the voice of reason. I was like, you know, we need to get him to pass this stool, and then we can start assessing like what else is going on. We can start to determine what might have caused it. We can see what else might be wrong. I'm the one who has to say this, not the vet. Boggled my fucking mind. And like, even then, she wasn't like, absolutely, you're totally right. She was like, I'm like getting her to begrudgingly see some fucking reason. And that too was the reason why I was like, ain't no fucking way, dude. Ain't no way. So we bring him home, and it's a scary night. So he received IV fluids, so he's got, you know, juice in the veins, and also had 3 rounds of enemas. So his body temperature is really low. He's very cold. You know, so when we left, swaddled him. He had like a little heater in there, and the doctor's like, you're gonna need to like put him in a bathroom and get him a heater blanket or something, and all this shit. And you know, just acting like he's gonna go through the night suffering, which, all right, I'll get there. And it's basically preparing me for like, hey, if he doesn't shit, he's dead, which I agree is the only real outcome that I saw if he could not poop. And then brings up giving him Miralax, which is a different type of laxative. And there's not a huge difference between the two other than the way that it's administered. They both essentially operate to accomplish the same thing in a similar way. Miralax is a powder that you sprinkle on the food. And I wanted to ask, like, hey, why did we go with lactulose first versus Miralax? So I asked, like, so like, talk to me about Miralax versus lactulose. And she's just like, oh, you just sprinkle it on the food. And like, didn't break down like the difference in the medication. And you know, at that point I already knew I was never gonna let her touch Haru again. But I was just like, you're out of your fucking mind, lady. Like, you just, okay. So before we get home, we stop by CVS. I get a little heating pad. I get the Miralax, and we come home. And instead of putting him in a bathroom that he's never been in and is unfamiliar with and is completely segregated from everybody else, we turned the guest room, which has been his baby room, we turned it into a pillow fort. Basically, we laid towels down, we laid some blankets down. I put the heating pad in his favorite spot in there on top of this favorite blanket. And he thankfully had just a little bit of an appetite. So I was able to get him to try the Miralax. And we I just put the heating pad on top of him like a little blankie, and he fell asleep real good. But yeah, it was spooky. I think it was probably around 9 or 10. He woke up and was like, hey, I gotta go. he goes and he gets a little bit of poop out. It's like half of a pinky finger, but like that's a lot for a cat that's been constipated. So I'm like, okay, all right. And then he does it one more time, and at that point I'm like, this is better. And then finally he passed what was the I could tell it was it because it had the pea pod style look, so I knew that he got the big one. And yeah, so huge sigh of relief, because like everything else we can figure it out. So he poops and he passes out. Very sleepy baby. Yeah. Y'all got there in the end, chat. So yes, we we had, if Haru could not poop, we would have gone and he would have got enemas again at the same place, but the doctor wasn't even going to be there. So it would have been just the staff. And I was like, yeah, I'm cool with that. But he pooped, and that morning, oh my goodness. So like he didn't eat a ton that night. And then the next morning we had put, I have this big storage bin of plushies that I've used as a baby gate, for the guest room whenever he's in there. But I wanted to like be able to easily go in there and let the other cats go in there, so they're not like constantly fussing at him under the door and causing trouble. So we had that box there. So I wake up, it's like 6 a.m. and I'm like, okay, open the door and he's like very loud and demanding food, and I'm like, okay, let me go make it, whatever. So I put the little bin there, and then I go make the food, and I wake Jackie up, and I'm like, hey, he's up, and Jackie gets up, and guys, this conversation about hexing the chat, let me break it down. Hex is Hex's name. One person thought that somebody was talking about hexing someone. Now there are other people who are talking about hexing someone. It is okay, but please, for the sake of chat not derailing, maybe we just don't talk about it. Anywho, I'm getting Jackie up, and I turn around and Haru's there. So this motherfucker jumped up over the thing. For the first time ever, he jumped the storage bin, and so he must have been feeling pretty good. So I make him breakfast. It's nice and moist and not the food that hurt him, and I sprinkle the Miralax on it, and he has a big old breakfast and is feeling good, and so he eats. But I have a thing that evening. No, that was Sunday. Saturday. On Saturday, I had to check on some friends' cats, ironically. So I needed to leave the house for like 2 hours. So he eats, he's hanging out. You can already immediately tell he's feeling a little better. So, you know, a lot of that stress was already lifting. So, you know, noon comes around and he still hasn't pooped from breakfast, and I'm like, okay, I'm sure it's fine, you know. He's got the thing was like, because he had still been eating the bad food, or the food that didn't agree with him. So like, I knew there was still some more of that needed to go through his system. But you know, I was still nervous, right? So when we leave, I want to keep him in the bedroom and just make sure, like, because I don't want him to poop everywhere. And we take care of the cats. And man, when I tell you, we got home, I have never been happier to see a room filled with poop. There was no less than like 5 piles of poop, and not a single one of them ended up in the litter box. So they must have all been really sticky and not wanting to come out of him all the way. But he pooped everywhere. It was beautiful. It was horrible. That room smelled atrocious. But I was so happy. It was like, oh hell yeah, he fucking let it rip. So Saturday was a good day. Saturday was a really good day. And big appetite. By the end of Saturday, he's like running around the house and shit. Like, he is very excited. The next day, Sunday, I do have a thing happening in the evening. And I was worried. I was just worried just because, like, again, he didn't poop a lot, but he's acting like he feels better. So, you know, and I'm feeling his tummy, and he's just, there's no, you know, hard stool, nothing suspicious going on. So, you know, I'm like, okay, I can leave for like a few hours and it'll be okay. It's not gonna be the end of the world. He's got food, he's got water, Cootie is like yelling in the next room. So we go do our thing. And the whole time I'm like anxious, and I'm like, well, I guess we'll see. I guess we'll find out how he's doing, and we'll see if there's any poop, because I don't think he had pooped all day, basically. So like, anytime, you know, you just had a constipated cat and you're like really like paying super close attention to their bowel movements, like, you know, cats don't poop that often, right? Like, it's not like it's a you know, perfectly timed twice a day thing. It just depends, especially with a kitten. So like, you know, I was telling myself like, hey, you don't have a reason to really worry. You just need to, you know, let time happen. So we go to the thing, we come back, and there's no poop. And now I'm nervous. I'm like, oh shit. Because like, I weaned him off of the lactulose because I felt like, hey, he passed that. He's not eating the bad food. Let's not give him diarrhea. Let's wean him off of it. We'll stick with the Miralax. So I was sort of just freestyling without the vet's help, but the vet had done more harm than good. So I was just trusting my gut and my knowledge with what the kitten had shown me to this point. So we come back and there's no poop. So I'm really like bummed out and anxious, and I'm freaking out because There's more, like, we have other things to do the following day. And I'm like, I don't think we're going to be able to go. I don't know. So I'm really, like, really stressed. And then after like an hour, you know, he has dinner and he's playing, and then an hour later he wants to go into the litter robot, which is impressive because I've put him in it a few times, but he's never like gone up into it himself. He's still a little too small. But he like walked over to it like, hey, I want to go to the bathroom, this one. And Jackie put him in there and he poops. But it's like, it is like, it's not even a nugget. It's like just a little streak of nothing, basically. But I'm like, I want to look at it and see, like, I'm going to inspect it because I'm a concerned cat dad and poop does not scare me at this point. So, you know, I go get the litter shovel, come back, and I go to shovel it, and it's a actual turd. It's not just a little bit. He buried it. And during this period of time that Haru's been sick, from the diarrhea to the everything, he's been really horrible at burying anything. Burying his pee, burying his poop. He's not very good at it. So I'm like, oh my God, he pooped. Cool. Wait a minute. Did he poop in the litter boxes and I didn't know? So I go to his room. There's like 4 turds in there. And I didn't know. And I was like panicking for an hour and a half because I just didn't triple check. I mean, bear in mind, the last time that I saw any of his poo, it was all over the room. And then the times before that, like, it was just sitting on top of the litter, not really buried. So, yeah, he had definitely not buried a turd before. Like, yeah, like, he scratches around in there, but, like, he doesn't get it where it needs to go. So, he surprised me. So, that was good. That was good. And then, since then, you know, it hasn't been a ton, but it's been a decent, like, you know, a pinky finger is a good frame of reference. About 3/4 of a pinky finger to a hole, regularly, which is, that's pretty good for a kitten, actually. Like, that's a strong, it's a strong one. So yeah, I'm I'm right here. I'm just off screen. Yeah, man. So throughout the day on Monday, like, Haru is running around. Like, I actually got him to chase me around the entire house. We have this like cat tunnel donut that he likes to sprint into, and it's got he's got a fucking a bunch of holes in it, and I had like a pair of socks that I was like dunking in the holes to fight him. So he was feeling really good. And you know, on Sunday night, oh yeah, Sunday fucking night. Okay, Sunday night, Saturday night, I don't remember which night. Sunday night, yes. Okay, the vet, right before we had our thing to go to, we hear back from the vet because they were able to get blood from Haru. And the test results were, and like, she was preparing me for the worst on the blood test too. Like, oh, we might find out something. Almost completely normal. And, except for 2 things. 1, he's a little anemic. And 2, his white blood cell count was really high. And, my immediate thinking is like, okay, well, bear in mind, this blood test was done at his very worst. Like, the worst he's been this entire time is when we got this blood. And also bear in mind that he has had litter box struggles for like a week and a half. So, you know, the white blood cell thing is concerning. But one thing, and especially about cats, because cats are really sensitive to this particular thing, is that stress can spike their white blood cell count. And like, I'm very against people like Googling and not against, but against like people who are on WebMD and are convinced that they know everything that's wrong. I just think like it's a good place to start, but like I've had some family members who are fucking, you know, they've self-diagnosed like 5 different things, and they're very certain of it, and then when a doctor doesn't agree or something, they're mad. So I've had people like that in my life. So I always try to be very like wary, but regardless of what the internet says about white blood cell counts and stress in cats, it is important to note that he was incredibly unwell at the time the blood was taken. I feel like that's a fair point to include. So, you know, she, at this point, in this email where the doctor's telling me about the blood test results, she's like, you know, I don't think it was the antibiotic that constipated him. And at this point, I don't think so either. I think it was the fucking food, but she will not listen to me. So she's like, oh, go back to the full dose of the antibiotic. And she says, I believe the white blood cell counts are because of his GI disease. So she's saying now, not that there might be, or that there could be, or that potentially, she's saying that he has a gastrointestinal disease. After telling me that all the facts and context that came before this do not sway her opinion, she has a new opinion. I know. So, hi, Miss Midnight Simp. No, you joined at the right time. The whole stream is about this story, so. At this point, I'm pissed. Like, I was already frustrated, but now I'm like, this doctor is so desperate to diagnose this cat with a thing. And I don't know why. Because at like no point, and this is something, so eventually I exchanged emails with this vet. I went into detail about why this issue has bothered me so. I was very polite, very, you know, professional about the way that I approached it. But, you know, she was like, oh, I'd love to see him on Monday, da-da-da-da-da. And at that point on Friday, I had already had them send whatever files we had on Haru to the other vet that we were going to go to. So, I already knew I was out the door, but now there was more files that I needed to have sent, so I needed to get in touch with. Also, Cootie was scheduled for his vaccine from that same vet on Tuesday, so I had to cancel that. So I get on the phone on Monday morning, and I'm like, oh, he's doing really great. You know, I think we'll be going elsewhere for his issues moving forward. I need to cancel that other appointment. Blah blah blah. And then I write the vet. And I basically say, like, I was constantly like, I appreciate the information you shared with me. I appreciate greatly the care that Haru received while there. The staff is excellent, etc. But then I broke down my concerns and, you know, expressed like, you know, your complete and utter neglect of factors that led to the constipation in the first place in favor of hastily diagnosing a kitten with something, you know, like you didn't bother x-raying right off the bat, all these other things, you know. And I said basically that any one of these instances are a little concerning, but all of them together were incredibly concerning, like to the point where this is, you know, you could have been responsible for the death of a cat here. I told her that, you know, this interaction was a disservice to her staff and her peers at the clinic, and that I was just incredibly disappointed with the care that he received. And everything in her response was like, no acceptance, no apologies in the first round. We did get there the second round of emails, but she was very like, not entirely defensive, more like, I'm going to explain. And, you know, she brought up the fucking antibiotic thing again. Like I was saying, I said, I was like, even now, while you're saying that you hear me and that you understand, you're convinced that I thought it was the antibiotic, when that's not even what I just said. What I said was, he ate a bunch of this fucking food. You did not consider his eating habits, or that he, you know, could have just eaten way too much of a brand new kibble that his stomach was not prepared to digest, and it fucking constipated him. Like, I told her, like, I am a fan of the philosophy of Occam's razor, which in layman's terms just means that the most obvious explanation for a thing is probably the most obvious explanation for a reason. You know, and I told her, like, the fact that I'm the one who has to try and say, like, I'm the one who has to be reasonable and say, like, we don't know what this could be, we need to reduce the factors and really try to understand what's causing what, etc. Like, why am I the one doing that? You're the one who's supposed to have the bedside manner. So I cooked. Just let it be known that I cooked. I'm talking like 1,500 word. Man, the second time around, she apologized for the way that there were breakdowns in communication, but even then it felt like, you know, like she was doing everything in her power to try and not be liable. And I even said, I was like, I would never blame you for the way that this prescription food interacted with him. Like, I'm the one who sat there and watched him eat so much of it, right? Like, I could have, you know, I could have tried to give it to him slower. You know, if he was really ravenous, I could have broken it down like every 15 minutes or something. It's like, I would not blame you for that, but the fact that you won't even acknowledge that it played a role is just absolutely asinine. So I gave her the work. She did the whole like, oh, please keep me updated because I'm invested in, you know, I'm invested in his well-being, and I believe her. I don't question that she cared or that she believed what she was doing was correct. Well, the thing is, he doesn't gorge himself like that usually. I think part of the issue is that he was so underweight and struggling at the time that the introduction of a brand new tasty food is like, it was very exciting for him. Because before this, like I have a like timed kibble feeder thing. And like he's really good at self-regulating actually. So I think, I think it's just that simple. Like homie ate and because he's had some of the science diet adult kibbles, but they're also pretty small and flat. These are like big old, like, if you ever seen the 3D Doritos, they're like puffed up triangles. That's what these kibbies look like. They're big puffed up triangles. And I just think he fucking was going ham because homie was a 1.3 pound kitten who like desperately wanted calories. And I don't know how we ended up here. And that was the point that I wanted to make to her too, was like, we've forgotten the whole point of why I fucking came to see you in the first place, lady. Like, he was underweight, and I think what happened was he was fighting off some sort of, could be a cold, could be anything, could be I don't know. That was the whole point. We didn't know what the fuck was going on. And it was, interacting with his weight gain and potentially appetite. I thought he was eating good. Like, I was so confident I wasn't paying that close of an attention. Just because, I'd catch him at the kibby bowl munching every now and then. It's like, okay, he's eating. Cool. Like, he had shown me that he was really capable of self-regulating. All my cats have done it that way. It's worked out. So, like, we don't know what the initial thing was. So, yeah. Man. So that was a time. Yeah. She I don't know, man. I was pissed. I still have to get I had like a credit on my account that I need to get back from them in a refund. So yeah, so on Tuesday we went to the specialist, and where did the kitties go? They're chilling. Of course, like the one time that we have shit going on. Mochi's chasing Haru around the house. That's what's going on. They love to like actually move, so getting them to all chill in one spot was never gonna work out for an extended period of time. The trip to the vet on Tuesday was great. The vet, now they're like, oh my god, he's telling that story for the fucking 30th time. Hi, Momo. Momo getting the basket? No, not up here. No, it's more. No. Momo. I don't think you need to be up here. I think you need to be the star of the show, Mochi. What if... There we go. Puppy Rat. I literally don't even remember the actual name of him anymore because I named mine Puppy Rat. But yeah, the vet trip on Tuesday was great. The vet listened to all of my concerns. Was like, yeah, he's small, but like, you know, he's just small. checked out his stomach, and we talked about like, yeah, worried about his diet and the constipation and stuff, and he's like, I brought 3 little turds to the vet that day that were from the past 12 hours. He was like, they look good. I don't, as it stands, I'm more worried because and here we go, we're gonna tie it all together. When Haru had come to the vet that Wednesday, so last Wednesday, I pointed out to them that his eyes had been draining more than usual. And they were like, oh, well, if it's clear, then it's nothing. And he's like, well, looking at him today, and it progressively got a little more noticeable. And he's like, what really concerns me today is like, it looks like he has an upper respiratory infection. And I'm like, yeah, that's a whole thing that I tried to tell the doctor, but like, she didn't fucking do any, like, she didn't even factor any of that in. He's like, okay, so we'll test that. We'll see what that is. You just keep feeding him what you're feeding him, and monitor it and see, like, is his stool normal? Is he putting on weight, etc.? And then we'll see what the deal with his upper respiratory is, and then we'll figure it out from there. And I was like, wow, imagine. It's just like, I don't know, man, because he got to see the x-rays, he got to see the blood work, and he's just like, yeah, looking at his pelvis, like, it's not out of proportion, like, it's not disproportionately small compared to the rest of him. It's just a small cat. And like, yeah, if he ate a bunch of kibble that he was not used to, and it didn't digest the right way, then yeah, like, of course he would have a hard time passing it. That's how constipation works. So I don't know, man. It's just like, it was validating to have a professional whose acumen I really trusted and respected, tell me, like, basically that a lot of these concerns don't seem founded in any sort of fact. And I have to commend him because he was really professional. I gave him opportunities to dunk, perhaps, because I was like, I'm not trying to bury this other vet or whatever, but they were like this, or they behaved like that, and they said that, and he was just like, yeah, just he didn't bite on any opportunity to be unprofessional, even though, like, it would have felt good for me. He did not go there, which I think speaks a lot to his character, and that matters. That matters a lot. Like, I think that might be something that people overlook sometimes. It's like, if a vet would have been quick to bury another vet and been like, oh, they're an idiot, oh, I don't, he gave me the facts as he saw them, with the information that he saw, and with the animal that was in front of him, which is all that I ever wanted. Was like, let's look at the broad context of what is happening with this kitten's care. Let's try to reduce the factors. And then, like, I told him, I'm like, this vet thought I was like, oh my God, this antibiotic is killing my cat. And I'm like, I'm not an idiot. I know that a baby dosage of a fucking metronidazole is not gonna hurt him. My only point was, like, we've never seen him react to this medicine, which I think, from what I know after talking to several professionals and people who've been in the industry, is like, yes, that is an entirely reasonable thing, that when you start any medication, it does not matter if you've given it to 100 cats, 1,000 cats, anytime you start a new medication with a new patient, you should not disregard changes and coinciding factors and other stuff. It's like, I was never trying to get you to say that the antibiotic hurt the cat. I'm just saying that it's not impossible for an antibiotic to cause constipation. It is far less common, but it is not zero. That's all. Like, you know, like what when you think it is far more likely that a cat has a genetic thing going on than very tangible factors that we can analyze and reduce or remove from the equation, it's like, what are you doing? Like, we can narrow it down. That's how it works. That's how it works with anything. So it was really, 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 really stressful. I ran the gauntlet of pet owner feelings of like, oh my God, I didn't do enough. Oh my God, I should have been like way, way, way more like vigilant. I should have done this or that, this. And it's like, ultimately, like, taking care of another creature is always going to have these inherent risks. That's how it works. If a medical professional prescribes you a medicine or a food or something and you administer it accordingly and you trust them and their knowledge and their training and everything, it's not your fault. You listen to someone who gets paid to do this for a living and they were wrong. And like, it's not even super personal. It's not even super personal that she got it wrong. But it's just the unrelenting, my opinion is this. It's like, you sound like a fucking clown and your behavior is a disservice to your peers, to the staff who has worked so hard, who otherwise have earned my business. Like that the staff and everyone else deserve a good experience. Like, they deserve a client. They've done the work to get good word of mouth. I've sworn up and down about this place. Like, I really liked this place. And because of that experience, like, I could never, I said this, and in the review I left, I included this at the very beginning. And I said, if all you need is routine vaccinations and examinations, this place is great. The staff is great. The convenience is unbeatable. Their communication is good. In terms of, when I say that, I mean like their email, their follow-ups, everything is excellent. Like, I will say this. Communication with the new place hasn't been great. And it's funny because I'm like, man, say what you will about the vet that was a pain in my ass, but like every time I brought my pets, there was a next day follow-up call with the doctor. So, it is what it is. So, anywho, Haru is doing good. I'm confident that he's going to be well and that he does not have any sort of underlying genetic thing. If he does, we've mitigated it and we're gonna have to see what's up. But he's pooping, he's playing, he's eating, he's growing. He's almost 2 pounds now. He'll be 2.5 soon. Sounds perfectly normal. So it was an upsetting time. Anywho, friendly reminder for people who are just joining. This Balloon Boy tumbler is available over at YuuriVoice.com, as well as stickers, as well as shirts. That vet is a Megacolon. Hello, Clane. I am live. My booty hurts a little bit, but I am live. Oh man. Yeah. It was a lot. Big shout out to Jackie for being here and helping me out through the process. I think I would have had like a mental breakdown otherwise. Because this is a lot of like, with a kitten that is doing whatever a kitten wants to do, and you're trying to make sure that you do all the right things. Sometimes it's like, hey, kitten needs this while I do this. And actually having someone to do the things while you're doing the other things. It's like, because he was right afterwards, he was trying to eat like the adult kibble. I'm like, hey, don't do that. So hey, so fucking Jackie was there to catch him and be like, hey, hold on. Versus like me having to hold a baby, make the food. It's a lot. So, oh man, it was a lot, man. Because like when you have a situation like that, you know, you feel guilty, and you know, I take the care of my pets really seriously. I try to be, you know, I try to be on top of shit, and yeah, so it's all right though. It's all right. Oh, everyone, Mochi is asleep on top of shipping stuff. I have like a little drawer over to the side that yeah, it was a lot. Yeah, I guess I didn't mean for that to take fucking you know, an hour and a half. Oof. We can take another look over at YuuriVoice HQ. Hey guys, I'm just gonna ask really kindly for you not to just start whole conversations about other creators in a live stream. That's a little weird and uncomfortable. Anywho, yeah, that sticker's legit. I am a fan. I do have an actual version of this notebook. Hey Jackie, would you run and get that notebook? I think it might be in the catch-all drawer. I don't think it's in the den anymore. If it's not there, then don't worry about it. I swear by the tumbler. It's so nice. It's so nice. Oh, it's the camera's not up. Oh. Welcome to Dreamer. There we go. Notebook. It's so fucking cute. Look at Charlie's little butt. Oh my god. You guys see he's got like pizza slices on his undies? And then it is dot grid paper. And then the back, of course, we got the rest of the boys. Oh man. Oh. Ow, my leggies. Oof. Thank you, Keely. I appreciate that. I'm sorry that the cat cam fewer cats than anticipated. Mochi has decided to lay over there, and Haru and Cootie and... Oh! Hi, Cootie. We do have a question form that just got blasted by Nightbot. If you guys would like to do that, I can go look at that. Let me... The brown cat is Kuri, Kuri, which is chestnut. His full name is Kurikuma, which is chestnut bear. Yeah. Let's go down to... Oh yeah, not a whole lot going on with the questions. Well, shit, y'all. I didn't, this was all like a short notice pivot because I did not have a whole lot of plans. Have a good night, Riot Control Camp. Thanks for coming out. Oh, man. This was a little, short notice. Oh, I wanted to ask you guys. So, Baldur's Gate 3 is coming out, and it has Twitch integration. For those of you who don't know, Baldur's Gate is like a RPG based on like Dungeons and Dragons with a few tweaks, but it's basically a Dungeons and Dragons game. That could be a lot of fun, but I just don't know if people would like... I just don't know if people would show up. And I also have other shit I need to do. Hey, Junkie Sock 69. So I don't know. Thanks, Eric. Yeah. Being gay in Baldur's Gate sounds like a great time. As the Hex asks, as the emojis get unlocked, do you have a set plan for which ones get added in order? I know why you're asking. I don't know. There's not a whole bunch of other emotes. I would have to check. Finn will probably be in there soon. I was just sort of, I'm trying to like get some coverage, like get a little bit of everybody in there and then get the other like variants in there. Oh man. Advice for being on chapter 2 episode 3 of Bittersweet. I would have tissues. I think I would just have tissues on hand for a lot of it. Saturday asked, we're in the last half of the year. Any goals or plans for the rest of the year and the beginning of 2024? Not just for the channel, but personal too, if you're comfortable with it. Get the shit released that I planned on releasing in the first half of the year, for one. And also, I start therapy next week, which is very fun. Still waiting. I should, in the next day or 2 or 3, should be getting my ADHD assessment results. Very excited about that, which means I'm gonna have to make an appointment, assuming that they make some suggestions for treatment on things. Yeah, so that's cool. Yeah. Other than that, man, I'm just trying to make it to the end of the year. Like, I just want to... I was cooking, man. I was cooking, and then this Haru stuff happened. And that basically, like... That fucked me up. Fucked up my whole, like, mojo. So, you know, even now, like, if he hadn't pooped in the past, like, 6 hours, I'm like, oh my god. My cat's constipated again. He's gonna get hurt. Ah! So, yeah, shout out to the vet for giving me fucking anxiety. Yeah, other than that, like, I want to stick with streaming a bunch. I want to watch more movies. Which, like, I just like film, so I want to see more movies. Try not to give big studio assholes my money too much if I can avoid it. Yeah, I want to stick with my, like, whiteboard of shit I need to accomplish. The whiteboard has been very helpful, but I haven't, like, used it the past week, really. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I just want to stabilize, I think, is the big plan. That and save money. I have not been able to, like, get some headway in that regard in a while. Yeah. Teddy asked if I had an estimate when the character bio things would be released. That's a good idea. I need to do it. I just haven't had a chance to go record it yet. I did add, so basically all the quotes got extended. Like, you'll only see the first part of the quote that we went over in that stream with them. But, excuse me. Oh, excuse me again. But I wrote the little extra bits because there's going to be, like, a voiced over part for the trailer, like, character trailer, I guess. Yeah, other than that, fucking, I got a bunch of shit I need to work on, but yeah. I feel like we're returning to normal around here. It's just, oh man. And honestly, if that all had happened before I really bounced back from my slump, it could have set me back like another month, honestly. Like, holy shit. Where can we find the YuuriVoice boys character art? It would be mad helpful for referencing. Man, the full, like, character art that you see in the videos is not currently anywhere, but it is something that I am aware of wanting and needing to have somewhere. I don't know if it'll be, I don't know where that would be yet. But I've been aware that I should have that. Like, that should be a thing people can go see. So, yeah, I'm gonna figure it out. The Alphonse hoodie is good. I highly recommend. Not to, I mean, I feel like I shouldn't be the one that's like, yeah, buy it. It's great. I mean, you do need to promote your own stuff that way, but oh man, Cootie is out cold. It's so funny. I now that we talked about all the, like, sad cat stuff, Cootie was the most resistant to the baby. He was the most anti-Haru cat. I knew he would be because he's just really fussy in general. He, like, Cootie is the most fussy of the bunch. So, like, if he's in the way and you tell him to move, he will whine. He'll be like, wah, If he jumps in the closet and you need him to get out, if you just have to get past him and it's too close, so I knew that a kitten would bother him a little. When Haru was only in the baby room, Cootie, at first he didn't want to come in. He finally was like, okay, I'm coming in, but I'm not gonna like it, and I'm gonna lay here and I'll slow blink at you, but this kitten, I don't like it. So fussing a lot. But he was never like aggressive with him, which is like, that's the telltale sign that you're gonna get it figured out. Like, he would hiss sometimes and he would make scary noises, but Haru didn't care. Haru was like, oh, you're fun. You're fun-sized big fella. So he was okay, but I knew, like, the real test is what happens when Haru comes out of the baby room. So after a few days, I was like, you know what? Let's have him, you know, explore a little bit. Let's see how, because Haru really, he was ready to go. He was not scared of the rest of the house. So I told everybody, I'm like, I think that within this week of Haru coming out of the room, Cootie's gonna break. And he sure enough, he did, exactly on the 7th day. It was a Friday. That day he drank out of the water bowl with Haru and was like right next to him, did not care. They even would like lay close together, and Cootie would be like, yeah, it's fine. And now they play, and you saw them playing earlier. Like, he doesn't care at all. So yeah, they're good. It just took some time. I was worried just because, like, Cootie never got comfortable with Toshi while he was here. But Toshi was an adult male cat, so, like, you know, it's a little different from getting used to a little kitten. And we got there. So, and Mochi, like, I wish Mochi would have been a little more active with Haru while he was in here, because, like, Mochi plays so good with Haru. It's so cute. The big joke was that, you know, Mochi thinks that he's sketty, like spaghetti. Mochi thinks he is spaghetti. And Mochi was like, Dad, what's sketty without a meatball? And I was like, okay, so Haru's, like, code name and nickname is Meatball. But that's just a joke, right? Like, that's not real. Mochi would have been, if an alternate world where Mochi didn't get snipped and he was like siring kittens and shit, he would have been the best cat dad, because he just immediately adopted Haru, played so gentle. Like, if he was jumping around, he'd like be really light-footed and not want to step on him, and just immediately was like, okay, I'm gonna cuddle him and groom him. It was very sweet, and they're the closest. They're the two closest cats. Momiji didn't care either, but was definitely more like, I think she saw how good Mochi was with Haru, and was like, oh, I'll just let him do that then. But yeah, even now, like, Momiji will grab him and groom him and play and have a great time. So yeah, they all get along great. And that, like, you know, when you're facing, you know, a pet being sick and you're fearing the worst, like, not only was it like really sad and scary, I'm also thinking, like, Yo, these cats are gonna hate this if like the worst happens here, because like they've all accepted Haru and they like him a lot. Like they play so good, they run around, they sleep together, they groom each other. Take care, Sora. Man, food sounds good. I have not had dinner. My tummy was upset earlier because I had a big breakfast. Yeah, it was a lot, man. I will look at the questions one more time before I go. Mini Thanos asked, advice for kittens. Oh my gosh. The biggest thing I think is, one, giving them stuff. Encouraging them to play with the stuff and not necessarily play with things that they shouldn't be playing with. Cat furniture is great. Obviously, like this tower is a big help. And it always varies from cat to cat, you know, because they're all a little different. Figuring out like not to snitch on Mini Thanos, but this question came in 2 minutes ago, so yeah, it's hard to know. Trying to create spaces where they're comfortable, stuff like you might not even think of, but like where you put the litter box, where you feed and water them, stuff like that can play a role in their attitude and stuff. Yeah, and like honestly, when it comes to furniture, well, here's what I always say is watch Jackson Galaxy videos. I don't think I've seen a video of his that I really disagree with. Very big on oh yeah, like Eden, anything that I've ever specifically gotten my cats that was bed like, they don't fucking care. I'm very lucky that they do like the bowl in this tree and that top bit. Here's a okay, this is actually a pretty good piece of advice. Cats are very texture based. Cats are very picky about what they put their peats on because their beans, they sense so much with their beans. For example, with Haru, Kuri, there's a specific blanket that we have that is not in the room anymore. It's a furry kind of blanket, not exactly shag, but it's like a faux fur on one side, and the other side is just kind of like a I don't know, it's just a cotton thing. Hootie, for example, loves the furry side. He will touch it. He starts making biscuits and purring really loud. I think it reminds him of his mom. He loves it. But if you place Haru on that same blanket, Haru jumps the fuck up off of it as if the floor was lava. He hates it. He cannot stand it. But ironically, if you flip it to the other side, he loves it. He loves just a flat cotton feel. So cats are very particular. The one thing I think most do agree on is cardboard, and they make cardboard bowls. I'm a big fan of not having my pets in public ever, just because of germs and illnesses and stuff. Here's what I think. You can probably accomplish the same thing by letting them touch, if you have different types of blankets, pillowcases, pillows, anything that can just be like a different kind of broader, oh, this is a fabric. Just letting them, you know, put them on it, see if they're like, oh, it's a thing, oh, it's not a thing. Yeah, but definitely like cardboard bowls can double as beds. I have a cardboard scratcher bowl in my den, which is right under my like front window, so the sun beams down on it, and it is probably the most hottest contested. The cat bed is the same texture as her favorite blanket. That's funny. Some cats are weird, man. That's funny though. Yeah, like I had a cat bed, and it was one of those ones that like pockets up like a crunch wrap for anyone who goes to Taco Bell. It has like a little cavern in it, and the outside of it was all that like fake fur feel, and like Cootie would never touch it, and I'm like, this is literally the same thing as your favorite blankie, and he's just like, nah, that's weird. My cats in particular, I think they prefer a firmer feel, like they're not into being in plush stuff. That's not entirely true though, because for some fucking reason, in the guest bed, Mochi and Momiji love to lay on the pillows in there, and it's like they're very like marshmallowy pillows too, but they like it. They don't do that anywhere else in any other room. So I think what the bigger point to make there is like, it takes time to figure out what your cat likes and what they want to touch and play and sleep on. I have spent so much money on things that they did not care for. So just be sparing with it. Like you don't spend a ton of money on a thing and you're not 100% sure they're gonna love it. And just being, I'm so wary of like any toys that have strings, any sort of dangly fabric thing, because so many toys come with like, I'm even skeptical. If you look in this bowl, that mouse, it's a mouse. It's a little gray ball with a pink tail, but that's supposed to be a mouse. I'm skeptical of that little fucking pink string that's supposed to be its tail. I'm like, I don't know. What if they chew through it and eat it? But none of these cats are very crazy about string, so I'm not super worried. But like, it's definitely a thought that always crosses my mind. Like, oh my god. Yeah. Oh. Man. What a time. Thank y'all. This was very cathartic. I know it was a very like straightforward stream, but it's been such a oh, all right. I'm exhausted and I need dinner. All right, friends. Next week we will do the Alphonse takeover stream. I don't know what that even fucking means. It'll be VTuber Alphonse getting up to shenanigans, playing games, hanging out, doing Alphonse things. And yeah. All right, y'all. Thanks for coming through. I know this was a long one. I know it was only me talking. Cootie was the only one who was like, I got you, fam. Alphonse changes the whole YouTube branding. Alphonse takes all the like money. Fucker. All right, y'all. Take care. Be good to yourselves. Have a lovely time zone. Bye, y'all.